What's up, guys? So Jimmy Butler. The reason why I'm making this video is because, look, I don't know if you guys remember, but I made a video before we were thinking about getting or acquiring Jimmy Butler. Before we acquired Jimmy Butler, I made a video saying Jimmy Butler, why he is a winner, why he seems like he tries hard at times. He can be a little bit of a dramatic issue, if you know what I mean. This guy can talk a little too much. And all I'm saying is the fact that this guy talks shit about the Minnesota run and the Philly run, that's kind of alarming, because it's like, okay, what is it? His first year in Minnesota, they went to the playoffs. Everything was good. Everyone got along. The minute shit started going south, drama everywhere. Jimmy Butler shits all over the organization. Fast forward to Philly. He gets traded to Philly. Same thing. Everything's going great. They make it to the playoffs. They looking like they're going to go to the championship last year. They run into the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi Leonard. Over a one-game winning shot. It could have went either way. And then shit goes south. All the bad stuff start coming out the closet, the boogeyman, I thought everything was good in Philly, but, as soon as they lose, it's a problem. And I'm just thinking Butler's the common denominator in that. And the reason why I'm making this video, guys, is because, Butler was on a JJ Reddit podcast. I think it was earlier this week, if I'm not mistaken. I heard about the news yesterday, though. And he let the worms out of the box, or the worms out of the can with this one. Like he opened Pandora's box, basically. He let all of the skeletons out the closet with what happened in Philly. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, aren't you the same guy that said early that you don't want to talk about it, but there's a lot of shit that went on in Philly and you kept it that way? And I was cool with that. I was cool with that. I was like, okay, you didn't even have to say that, but it is what it is. Media needs something to talk about. But now, you let the worms out the box. You talked about, you didn't know who the fucking leader was, quote unquote. You didn't know who was in charge. You and the coach had, headbutts, or, whatever. Butted heads, I mean. It's like, dude, shut up, man. You're done with Philly. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to go on a podcast in the middle of the season when you should be worried about the playoffs, which I'm going to talk about the future of the Miami Heat's playoffs and what it's looking like, because it's not looking great. But anyway, and another thing, you're dealing with a toe injury, so you need to be working on other things than going to a fucking podcast talking about the past. You're living in the past, man. The whole Philly thing is over with. You need to work on and focus on helping this team get prepared for the playoffs. Because there's a lot of guys on this roster that's never really had experience in the playoffs. Winslow, Richardson, and Whiteside are gone. Bam, he's really never had experience in the playoffs, especially as a starter. Dragic and you are the only guys that had experience in the playoffs, and Iguodala. And Drake and Jay Crowder, of course. But you guys need to get prepared for the playoffs and get these young guys acclimated and prepared for the playoffs. Because, we're going to have a tough road. And I'll talk about that in another video I upload today. But, yeah, it's crazy. It's like, man, Butler, I like the way he plays. I think he's not aggressive sometimes in the fourth quarter. But overall, he plays tough, and I respect that. He's a very good wing defender. But it's like, man, you got to shut up sometimes. You have to shut up. Some things are just meant to be left quiet and alone. Don't talk about it. That's nothing to talk about. You're just giving the media more fuel. It's like you're working for them. That you didn't have to say all of that. That some things are just not meant to be said. You're bringing drama. You're still bringing drama up. You didn't hear Ben Simmons. You don't hear Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid talking a lot. I hear Jimmy Butler talking a lot. And it's like, and yes, he was saying this quote, it is good to speak up, but sometimes it's not. You got to know when to do it. This is not the, I think this is very unnecessary of Butler to speak up about what went on in Philly. Philly has nothing to do with what's going on with the Miami Heat right now. They have their own issues. Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, one of them are going to get traded pretty, eventually, but that's their problem. You need to work on helping the Heat, proceed and get better. Not worried about Philly, not worried about the Timberwolves, not worried about you. Even in Chicago, he was talking about how the young guy, him and, Wade really, but, even Butler, he was talking about how the young guys weren't playing hard. And he, when he left after his tenure there, but when he first got drafted there in the good years, they went there and we was faced them with the playoffs. Nothing was never said. It's like when everything goes to shit, this guy likes to bring out the negatives. And when he likes to talk about things that shouldn't be talked about, should be personal. And when you know what that does, that make more and more NBA players are not going to trust you because you talk too much. They're not going to trust you, and that's going to become a problem for you. That's going to make you look like the bad guy. You got to use your head, man. You can't just be a fucking open book all the time. You got to just keep stuff in the house. The NBA players, I know they go by a brotherhood. Hell, I play basketball. It's a brotherhood, man. You can't talk about shit. It don't matter if you don't get along with that person or not. Now, I know he doesn't really, I can't tell if he doesn't like Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons is one of them. Probably more likely Ben Simmons. And he's probably trying to tell people that, Ben Simmons basically runs that team. The coachless Ben Simmons does whatever he wants. And that's probably true. But again, that's not for you to talk about. You're not on that team anymore. You shouldn't have said that shit while you were on the team. Don't wait and leave the team and then talk about it. Same thing we did Timberwolves, same thing we did Chicago. It's like every time you leave a team, it's always a problem. And that's why I'm saying Pat Riley needs to keep his eye on Jimmy Butler. Because Jimmy Butler even said, during the All-Star break, and I never brought this up or made a video about it, but he was like, I could, who knows? Maybe I might return back to Chicago one day. And I'm thinking to myself, whoa, wait there. Wait, bro. You have a commitment to the Miami Heat right now. You have a 3 years left on your contract to serve and play with the Heat. You shouldn't be talking about where you're going at the end of your career and all this other bullshit. It's like, dude, some things you just shouldn't say. I just want to know who is the guy over him. Who is his manager or whatever. His agent. They need to get in this guy's head and be like, man, some things you just shouldn't say. But that's just how I feel about it, guys. You tell me what you guys think. Again, I just think Pat Riley and Espo and them, they should keep their eye on Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler is he's somewhat of a ticking bomb. And it feels like when things don't go his way or if some team is not winning, he'll start just opening up the can of worms about that. And that's kind of a female attitude about things. That's kind of a very feminine personality disorder or some shit. Like that's not what a man does, man. You don't talk about shit like that. But he left for 305 out. Let's get it.